Grand Rising. Yes, there's always something. I call it crazy stupid. Stupid crazy? It's crazy. Yeah, but we're watching, they're giving us the movie. Meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of covert financial operations going down. It is a complete takedown. I don't even know who's left, but there's a lot of slime balls out there. Bring on the cameras. Yes. Lights, cameras, and action. It's something else out there right now. Plus, it's Anti-Gravity Day, so hang on to something. Make sure you, when you start feeling yourself getting very light, grab something quickly. 30 to 40 cents liters. 30 to 40 cents per liter up today since yesterday. Yeah. Well, that's because the corporations are not listening. They're not listening to the executive orders from the Global Alliance from Trump. Yeah. It's just another gorgeous area, part of, our great country of Canada, which is part of the Americas, and we are sovereign. We do not recognize the incorporations that they have imposed on us. I know that they say that there's 48% of the NPC sleepers and brainwashed dum-dums still side with some kind of patriotic phenomenon out there that they think is, something real, and it couldn't be further from the truth. 48% of Canada's brain dead. That's the way I'm looking at it. So, we can, us patriots and intuitives can thank our Lord and Savior for giving us the strength and the intuition and the, intuity to see through all this evil darkness. Yeah. We're protected by God. We have the armor of God around us. We are only there to, put our hand out and to help the others that want to be helped. Otherwise, they are a waste of time. How you doing, Maria? Yes, I am so grateful to be awake too. I am so grateful to be one of the chosen. There's not very many, humans out there that have compassion, that have critical thinking, and that have a heart and soul. Not many of us out there. It's very, very clear. It's very, very apparent to see now. We are at best 15% of the planet, at best. So us 15%, we have to stick together. Like I said, it's Anti-Gravity Day. Apparently, from what they say, some say another day, whatever. But I don't think anything's going to become of it. But maybe it's just another fear tactic. We're just going to stay quiet, keep moving forward. I want to get into some mortgages and banking today. I feel that there's a lot of people out there that are sitting there on a pile of money, and they don't know it. So I want to just get some stuff clarified. I believe I'm qualified to talk about stuff like this, being that I've had 67 mortgages in Canada in my lifetime. And I've built, 600 plus 687, I think it is, or 88, whatever it is now. I'd have to go back. I got to go back into my transcripts. But, yeah, and that's on 18 different 18 different countries. So, yes, I feel I'm qualified to, probably more than most bankers are. They are been brainwashed into, giving out you the programmed rhetoric and banking practice to push you into signing on contracts that are not legal. Yes, it's one way to look at it. What did we say? What did we say back in the 60s? Let's go to the concert and have a big love-in. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Those are the days. 1969 Woodstock. I was only 14 years old, but very much awake. Yeah, very, very cool time. Yeah, 1.5 million people in one gathering, not one fight. Yes. So today, Canada, they are claiming that Canada owes $1.5 trillion. That's what they're claiming. And I just want to tell all the Canadians out there, it's not your debt. It's the bank's debt. It's the corrupt bank's debt. It's the corrupt politicians' debt. It's their debt. And they're the ones that are going to have to pay it. So, it's not, we shouldn't even be paying taxes. We should be collecting our pay 100% of what you consented to. Not 50%, what they're trying to take from you. And that's why you say you got to go back into your employer and tell them, I'll handle my own taxes. And if that doesn't sit well with you, if you feel that you have authority over my paycheck, and you want to align yourself with the corrupt government, which if they do, they're probably corrupt themselves because they should be awake after being exposed to this for the last 10 years. At least 10 years. For most it's been a lot longer. But if they still don't get it after 10 years, then they are completely brainwashed or completely corrupt. Right? So you just go there and say, well, do I have to go to my notary and get a formal letter made up saying that I will handle my own taxes? Because I can do that. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to walk away. Because if they're going to give you a hard time, you're walking away from corruption. You're walking away from brainwashed corruption. And they have some kind of sinister purpose to hold your paychecks, or even a guarantee or anything. They are part of the evil system, right? I am so fed up with it. I mean, I have always paid my guys cash. You do what you want with it. It's your money. I never was part of the system. I ran a good, decent business, and I never was touched. After they audited me in 2012, I knew where the direction that was going, and I just basically started selling everything before they can get their hands on it. They can't. Anybody that steps out of the system or out of the matrix, they can't touch you. People that own homes, they can't touch you. Right? If you have a mortgage, better check on your mortgage documents. If you owe money on it, go get copies of all the mortgage documents that you've signed, and look at it and make copies of it, and go into court and make your claim that it's predatory lending, totally illegal. And you're not going to pay. You're not going to honor this illegal contract. If you're having financial problems. Also, if you hold a lot of equity, there's a lot of people out there that own, that have equity up to 100%. They got their places paid for. Maybe people got 50% equity. Why don't you go and exercise it? Go get a reverse mortgage. Go get, some a line of credit against it. And the reason why I say all this, start utilizing all the equity you have in your property, and many are kind of listening to me. They're scared because, I don't know why you're scared. It's your equity. It's in your home, and your home is we're about to witness the biggest financial crash and real estate crash in world history. Your house is only going to be, right now it's only going to be worth 10%. I knew that. I knew that 12 years ago it was coming. And now we're in the final stages. This is the final stages of this swift financial terrorist takedown. Their system is burning burning at the stake, right? Hot and dry in Louisiana. No rain, but humidity is thick, yeah, and heavy. Well, you know what? If you got moisture down there, at least you don't have forest fires. And like it says, forest fires are so deadly. You know, there's so many ways to prevent that. Like I said, 48% of the Canadians are completely brain dead. They have been brainwashed into, basically hating our brothers and sisters to the south. Our American brothers and sisters, we have been together, fighting alongside each other, and going through the same painful survival mode as anywhere else in the world. You think it's any easier there? You know, thank God they have a president in there that's taking care and ripping the guts out of the corruption. We don't even have that. We're in the middle of the corruption here in Canada. How long does Canadians have to suffer for? How long? I don't know. Until they wake up? Well, I don't think they're ever going to wake up. They're on the other side. They're stuck in a box in a very, very dark place. Yeah. They're mushrooms. Absolute mushrooms. There's a lot of Canadians here that are awake. You know, I am, communicating with a lot of people. More and more are waking up every day. More and more awake, are starting to listen. But that's good. I mean, but there is, all we have to do is walk out our front door. Go downtown, take a look around. Go to the grocery store, go to the gas station and see, they're completely oblivious of what's happening. Okay. Now, there's just been some development here, some uncovering of the paperwork that they have confiscated from the Vatican. It was to do with the financials. There was a guy by the name of V. Maloney, and he was assigned by the president to go there and get into all the auditing that was going around the Vatican at that time. This, apparently, from what he's uncovered, is basically the final nail in the coffin of the SWIFT system, of the corrupt banking cartel. This is the final nail. It's all coming out. The evidence is monumental. It's absolutely mountains of it to put these criminals away forever. And they've been stealing your money to line their pockets. And that's why you're going to see every bank on the planet come down. Every stock market, every bond, 401ks, anything to do with the central banking system. So my strong advice, recommendation, is to get anything that you have invested inside the central bank, get it out of there as fast as you can, including your savings, your checking, any type of IRAs or whatever you've got, 401ks or RRSPs out of Canada, wherever. Try to cash it all in. Take the hit. Go ahead. A piece of the pie is better than no pie at all. Okay? Because it's all coming down. It's not going to survive. Real estate will not survive this. If you've got equity, you haven't worked for that equity because it's all been inflated in a mortgage. You've sat there and paid your mortgage and, watched the inflation of that bubble on the real estate market, be overinflated. Nobody can sit there and convince me that a piece of property on a half acre with a house that's from the 1980s, that's actually 45 years old, on a half acre of land inside the lower mainland of Abbotsford, Aldergrove, is worth $1.8 million. You're on another dimension if you think that. So what you do, sell it or refinance it, because at the end, it's only going to be worth 10 cents on the dollar, all of it. You know, and like I said, I've owned 67 mortgages, and I always, when I went in there, borrowed to the max, which is up to 95% sometimes, against the property value of that home. So if I had a piece of property, like with an old house on it, and I went in there and I did a lot of infills, so that home was slated for demolition, you know, because it was built at the turn of the century. And then I would go in there and say, okay, here's the plans for the new home, based on appraisals and estimates. I would take those appraisals and run it into the bank and say, when I get this thing finished, I need this much money, usually up to 90%, to build this, and this place will be worth this much at the end. So if you had a place that was worth $1 million, in their eyes, you would borrow $900,000. And then the $100,000 would be their equity that they put in, you know, basically that you've put in. It's all on paper, right? And then you pull the $900,000, you do the infill and build the property right till it's finished. Might cost you $600,000, and then you pocket the other $300,000. That's how I made money, and that's how I was able to raise, you know, my children doing the things that I was doing. And then if the market would crash, or it was ready to crash, if I smelt it crashing, I would, you know, sell whatever I could and go work overseas until that was over. I was always chasing the dollar, because in one country there might not be a real estate meltdown, but in other countries it would be a real estate meltdown. So you just had to watch and go to places where the market was strong, and the banks were lending money on real estate, to real estate builders. That's how it was. That's how it works. And this practice still goes on to this day. Everything is based on an appraisal. So if you got appraiser in your hip pocket, and you say, listen, this is what the value of this property is worth, they're always going to try to push it down a little bit, but who cares at this point? Just say, you know, I need an appraisal done to my place. What is it worth? You get that appraisal. Might cost, I don't know what it costs now, maybe up to $500-600. But, you know, you need that appraisal. Get that appraisal, take it into the bank, say, I want to refinance as much as you possibly can. Some places will say, well, you need to do your taxes. Well, go claim whatever taxes you want. If you haven't done any of your taxes, then take it to a mortgage broker. Just say, listen, because the mortgage brokers will go right on the face value. They'll go on equity, whatever's equity's in the property, because that way they know that their money's secure. At the very, very, you know, if everything goes south, in their eyes, if everything goes south, they know that they still have money tied up, and their money's protected based on them being on the title. And really, you know, you're the one that knows, you're the property owner, so it's okay to do the things that you do. You are the one that knows that this market is about to crash. So the SWIFT system, like I said, is in the final stages. You know, and that's why I'm saying, you know, if there is any money left in the banks or whatever they're doing, proceed. You know, because like it says, in the end, you're going to still be able to live in your home, and then your home will be paid off once the QFS is activated, which is starting to be activated around the world right now. I believe that the Tier 4B currency or fiat currency, digital warriors out there that have been buying foreign currency is starting to be activated in places like Japan, India, Malaysia, I believe South Korea. There's lots of activity of things going down. People are getting their money out. They're starting to receive their amounts of what they're looking for. in this revaluation. So things are being activated. I don't think they're waiting for the United States anymore. Now, oil is starting to move out of the Gulf of America. They're starting to sell into Asia right now. Hundreds of thousands of barrels of good oil ready for the gas stations are being delivered to Japan, South Korea, China, even other places, Vietnam, and it's all being distributed by the U.S. Republic. We're just completely taking over. Yeah, and that's going to start bringing down fuel costs. Don't worry about what the leftists are saying about Iran. Iran is getting basically a douching. They're getting a douching from all the corruption, and like all banks are going to get, everything's going to come down. Yep. That's why I'm saying, take your cash out, whatever. I've got a bit of a situation here now because, I've got cash on me out of the bank. But I'm going to wait till the last day, then go in and drop my money in there, and then start sending it over to the Philippines, and I'm going to have it transported that way, because it's a really easy way of doing it. I can, it's basically, it's all, it's a pretty decent system for a SWIFT system, because it doesn't charge you, your fingers and your eye to send the money. Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. The exchange right now is 43.50 Canadian dollar. So that's 43.5 pesos for every Canadian dollar. That's pretty decent exchange. Silver is up to 66.50. American, which is probably pushing it at about $105 Canadian. So it's on its way up. Gold is up about $500 in the last 2 weeks. So it's, metals are starting to move. We possibly could see a complete meltdown of the metals because it's, everything's going to be taken down. But then once we get to the other side, everything's going to be reevaluated, including all the old currency, the old SWIFT fiat currency of foreign nations, the dollar, the pound, the English pound, and of course the European euro will do a complete meltdown. They will exist. I don't think the euro or the pound is going to exist. They might go into a different type of currency. Or they might be calling it that, but at that point, all of that money, the dollar, the pound, and the euro, will be reevaluated with gold backing. Personally, this is just me. I don't trust any type of paper. I don't trust anything, and I will never trust it again. If I'm going to carry any currency with me, I'll just stick with my silver. Carry my silver coins that are worth, $120 Canadian a piece. And if I need money or cash, whatever, I can go into the millions and millions of jewelry shops and get whatever I need to get and negotiate my silver price at that point. Because we hold the silver, we're going to have the controlling negotiation, because we're the ones, they're the ones that want it. We're the ones that are selling it. And that's just all, and the differences between those two is on how you negotiate. If you say it's worth 120, that's what you expect to get, 120 Canadian, or however many, in their dollars, whatever country you're in, whatever you've come up with. So you're going to have to be a bit of a calculator to do all that, right? So, for example, if I take a coin into the Philippines and I want to sell it, well, I'm not going to sell it for anything less than 5,000 pesos. That gives me, a decent premium on my money, on my silver, and there's no shortage of rich Filipino down there that would be happy to buy that because they know it's going to go up. So it's a win-win situation for both parties, right? Okay. A little trick. Farmers been doing it for years and years. What you can do is when you're planting seeds or planting something, whatever, put those seeds in your mouth and let your DNA soak and get the seeds moist. That your DNA will increase the vitamin mineral in that seed because it'll absorb it and it will attract or it will respond to your DNA, and it will bear better fruit and with higher vitamin content. Yeah, it's all in line with your DNA. Okay. Who do we tell that to? Just got $500 a year tax increase. You don't say that to anybody. What are you saying? Who do we tell that or tell that to? The $500, if you've got a tax increase on your property, you've got lots of equity in your homeland. Start exercising it. Just go pay whatever. I mean, if you got bills coming in, you're all worried about them, whatever, you don't want to pay them, it doesn't matter. You got inflated fiat currency that is absolutely full of phony money. So go play with your monetary money. Go play with your monopoly. Right? Go refinance. Go to the bank. Tell them, hey, I'm going to refinance. I want to refinance. It says I got X amount of dollars tied up in this property. It's worth this much money, you know. And if they don't accept that, go to a mortgage broker. Who cares about the $500? Who cares? You know, who cares what they try to throw on you? It doesn't matter. You know, we cannot look and start responding for what's happening today. Look at what's going to happen down the road. What is your property going to be worth next year? Zero. It's going to be worth 10% of what it's worth value today. Are you can you all the property owners out there, can you not see the meltdown coming? You know, there's 7 million homes vacant just in Florida. 7 million that the people that were living in there threw the keys back to the bank. The banks can't hold that. It's, they just can't, they can't hold it. You know, it's all fiat, worthless. The whole thing is a fraud, and the fraud is starting to be exposed, and it's all going to come down. So who cares about the frickin' taxes? They're putting out shit and sending you invoices on stuff that means absolutely nothing. You know, it's frustrating for me to watch all this stuff unfold and people aren't taking action when they're holding, hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity in their homes that they can use and turn that into hard liquid cash to go out there and buy some real money, right?